Great. Hi, guys. Christine said we're going to be doing fish and papillote. It is probably one of the easiest ways to make fish. I know some people are afraid to make fish because it's like, how does it smell? How do I know when it's done? Is it overcooked? Is it undercooked? That doesn't happen with this because really what you're doing is you're putting fish in parchment paper. We're in a slightly different setup here because I'm not using my regular oven. Parchment paper. The idea is you're putting whatever veggies you want in there, whatever aromatics, whatever spices and seasonings, and then you're just placing the fish on that bed, wrapping up the paper so it kind of forms a kind of pocket or packet, like so, and popping it in the oven to cook. So cooking it this way, what it does is it keeps all the flavors locked in. So think about when you're cooking something in like a pressure cooker where it's not open to the air. And so all the flavors, all the smells, all the steam just stays within it. So it cooks it really well. So with cooking the fish this way, the steam kind of circulates around the fish and cooks the fish, cooks the veggies while it's in the oven. So it's pretty low mess. It's pretty quick cooking, and it's very difficult to overcook the fish this way. So like Christine said, I'm going to be showing you 2 different ways you can make this. One of them is an Italian style, which I've actually prepped, and we will see this at the end because I'm going to put this in the toaster oven right now. So I'm going to get it started. I'm not using my big oven just because it's just a small packet and this thing heats up faster. So I'm going to put this in here and then I'll demonstrate with the other one. Okay, the other style that we're going to make, so I just put it in there at 375. It's going to be in there for about 12-ish minutes, like 10 to 12 minutes. So in the meantime, we'll prep this. So what I have here, I'm just gonna, let's see how we can show you this. It's a bit of a mess, but you can see, are gonna be all the ingredients for the Asian style fish. So I have some baby Bella mushrooms that came pre-sliced. I also love to use different kind of mushrooms in these, like trumpet mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, enoki mushrooms, whatever you have, you can use them. So I happen to get portobello. I'm also going to be using a bunch of scallion. I'm also using red onion. I've talked before about how I love mixing onion flavors in things, finding different ways to bring out the same flavor with different ingredients. So I'm going to be using onion, scallion, mushroom. I'm also going to be using some garlic that we're going to grate up. Because it's Asian style, we're also going to have some ginger that I'm going to grate. And finally, we're going to have some carrots. So these are just baby carrots that I've cut in half. And we're going to add this to the mix. Other things I have are sesame oil, which we'll use to drizzle on top, and some soy sauce. I feel like I'm holding this out like it's a bottle of wine, where it's like, would you like to, yeah.
Would you like to taste the soy sauce?
I know. Would you like to sample it before I put it in your meal? So anyway, this is a soy sauce. It's kind of a different soy sauce than what I used to get in the past. I used to just get the straight soy, but this is actually a mushroom soy sauce. I like this one a lot. It has a different flavor. I don't know that it tastes mushroomy per se, because I don't know what mushroom tastes like in soy sauce, except if it's this, but I do like the flavor that this adds to dishes. I have very little left, but that's all we're going to need.
Well, that's a testament to how you feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and this is a giant bottle. This is like 700 mils. This is basically a wine bottle. So, and I finished that all in 2 days. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So let's get started. So now that I showed you those, I'm going to show you how I'm going to assemble this. So this is actually a very quick way of doing this. Like if you just chop up a few veggies, you can just basically put it on the paper, wrap it up, and go. So like I say in all of these classes, don't feel obligated to use the identical ingredients that I'm using. The whole point of making something like this is if you have some fish in the back of your freezer, if you find some fish that's really fresh at the store one day, you can take that, you can look in your fridge for what kind of veggies you have. You know, so if you have arugula, use that. If you have pea shoots, use that. If you have baby spinach, that's great. The idea is I always like to start with something green and then add things on top of that. So almost creating a bed and going from there. So let us get started. Let me move this back so I can show you how I'm going to assemble the actual parchment paper. Okay, here's the paper. It looks like this. If you look on YouTube, you'll find like so many videos on the proper way to fold your parchment paper and like where to place it. A lot of people will cut out the parchment in like a heart shape, and I just don't do that. I cut it out like this. It's also uneven. It's not the prettiest thing, but it works, right? Okay, so let me show you this. Here's the paper. First thing we're gonna do is add our greens. So in the Italian one, I'll show you when I open it, there's something different in there. But for this Asian version, we're actually gonna add scallions. Scallions are just green onions. And here I'm not bothering to switch between like, or separate the white and light green and dark green parts. Everything is going in here at once. Now, if I was making something with scallions on the stove, I wouldn't add the dark green parts right away because they're more leafy and they tend to cook quicker. But here, because again, we're steaming everything together, it's gonna be hard for this to overcook as well. So that's why I'm kind of putting them all in together. And I know this looks like a lot of scallions because, well, it is. It's like 3 of them or something. But again, when you steam it, you'll see that it just kind of blends in nicely with the fish and you're not going to feel like you're just eating mouthfuls of scallion, which would be, I mean, maybe not the worst, but maybe not what you want, right? Okay, next thing we're going to put on here is the onion. So here I just have some purple or red onion, I guess this is called, but it's purple. So I've just cut them into little slits or little little circles or little like slices like this. I'm just going to place this here. You don't need a lot of this. It does have a pretty strong flavor. I like onion, but again, if you don't like onion that much, you don't need to add that much. Okay, we put the onion again. See, nothing fancy here. Can you guys see that well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's nice because it's like colorful too.
Yes. So I'm glad you said that, Christine. I was reading my mind because the next thing we're going to add on here is these carrots, which I picked specifically for their color. No, okay. No kidding. I've had these baby carrots in the fridge for I don't even want to say how long, but now we're going to use them. And I have to say, I'm not even a big fan of carrots. Like it's not my thing, my go-to vegetable. But putting it in something like this where everything's enclosed and I'm like, this is my meal. You know, it's all portioned out. It actually comes out really well this way. Okay. Here we have some carrots. And then the next thing we're going to add is the mushrooms. This is actually a lot of mushrooms. I don't know that we need quite these many. So you can see they came at the store kind of already sliced like this. What I'm going to do is give them, I'm finding that they look a little bit big. I'm just deciding that now because what happens is sometimes when you use bigger greens like arugula or spinach or something, it just takes up more of the paper or more of the surface. So you can kind of fit more things on there, but I'm really trying to create a bed on which I can put the fish. So I don't want these mushrooms to kind of be too big. I'm just roughly chopping them up. And again, I love mushrooms, so I'm adding quite a bit, but you can adjust this to your taste. And like I said, another great thing here would be to use a variety of mushrooms. So if you were to use like wild mushrooms, so here we go. All right, so you're just adding more and more color. Right? And then the last couple things I'm going to do here are grate my ginger and garlic on top of here. So why am I grating it? I have found that especially with ginger, I don't like biting into bits of ginger. I'm gonna, it's like an awkward ankle. I don't like biting into bits of ginger when I'm eating anything, cooked or not. And I find that by grating it, just using something like that, it makes it small enough where it infuses its flavor into everything, but it doesn't feel quite as harsh or quite as pungent when I'm biting into it. Okay, I think I saw a question come through. Anything I can answer now, Christine?
Yeah, could you use shallots in the mixture?
Yeah, you could absolutely use shallots. In fact, that is what I have used in the fish that's in there. So once that's done and I take it out, I'm going to open it up for you guys and show you kind of what's in that one, just to show how customizable something like this is. Okay, so all I'm doing now is taking this, I'm just grating a little bit of ginger on everything, and I'll show it to you in a second. It's funny, you know, I'm looking at this now. And this basically looks like I can make a stir fry out of this, right? Like you have your green onions, you have your carrots, mushrooms. You could put bell peppers in here if you want. I tend to like bell peppers a little bit on the crispier side, so I don't particularly want to add them here. But it has mushrooms, carrots, scallions, and it has ginger. So spread this out a little bit. And I'm going to put in garlic. So this, I could actually take this out of the parchment paper and put it in a stir fry if I change my mind at this point, but I'm not going to. So just know that. And I'm happy to do this like an Asian style, but you could really do whatever you want with it. Okay. So now all I'm doing is peeling this garlic. I'm almost at the time in my life where I'm going to have to start buying peeled garlic. I've resisted for a long time because I'm just like, I can peel it myself. Like I'm capable. However, I was just trying to grate it on the knife, guys. That's not. Okay, here's just a clove of garlic. And I'm just gonna grate this. It's funny, sometimes with this, you grate it and you're like, where's all the garlic? It's still on the
All
bottom.
hiding, yeah.
You have to kind of like
Pull it all out.
Yeah, and garlic's another thing I love. Like I'm trying to control myself and use like one clove here. Like I would not be surprised when I just make this for myself later that I just add more garlic. You know, I love, 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 love garlic. Trying to go for a little bit of subtlety, but we'll see. Okay, so I've spread that out a little bit. Put that in here. Let's move this. And what are we missing? Oh, we're missing the fish. So now let's get the fish. So I got the fish out of that packet that I showed you guys. This is the barramundi. It came frozen. And then I just thawed it overnight in the fridge. With this fish, because it's just like, it's not quite something like chicken or beef or something where it takes forever to thaw in the fridge. It's actually quite quick. And the last like hour, it wasn't thawed enough. So I just like took it out, you know, because I put it in not as early as I wanted. So all I'm going to do now is cut this. And then these are about 6-ounce fillets here.
Yes, you can use cod. Earlier someone was talking about they had gotten tilapia for this. So yes, Suruthi had said that you could use cod, you could use, which depending on the thickness of the fillet, you may need to cook it a little longer than she's going to do today, but you could use salmon, tilapia, probably orange roughy. There's like a lot of different fish that you could definitely make use of in this.
Yeah, so, and this, I literally, when I sent you this recipe, Christine, I was like, I think I have some fish in the freezer. Like that's how I decided to make this. So, okay, we have the fish right here, 6-ounce portion. So what I'm gonna do is actually place it on this cutting board here. And all I'm gonna do is like salt and pepper it first. I'm trying to get in the habit of salting at every stage, but for this one in particular, I do not wanna salt it too much because we are gonna add a little bit of soy sauce in as well. That's all. So first, put this down here. I'm gonna salt the veggies a little bit. A little bit of pepper. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the fish, which I'm gonna place here. Pepper, a bit of salt. And then I'm just going to flip this over like that. And then a little bit of salt and pepper on this side. Now the amount of soy sauce we're adding in here is very, very little. So, but I still don't want to over salt this. Okay, so can you guys see that now? It's just like the fish on this bed that we prepared, right? And so it has scallions, mushrooms, carrots, ginger, garlic, red onion, and then just salt and peppered fish on top like this. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're almost ready for this to go into the oven. The last thing is just adding a little bit of red pepper flakes. So they like to have some heat. It's gonna take a little, and I make my food pretty spicy, so I'm gonna go like this. Put it on top. Okay. And then I love sesame oil. So I'm gonna add a little bit of sesame oil on top. The sesame oil is one of those things that, like, similar to truffle oil, which I've used in the other fish, just a little bit does go a long way. This is just coming out in like little drips. And the nice thing is, like, even though I'm putting this oil kind of on the fish, like, it's all going to be wrapped up and all the juices are going to come out. It's going to kind of get the flavor into all of the veggies. So you don't have to worry about, you know, where am I putting it? I'm not getting to stir it. It doesn't matter because it'll cook through. Okay, now we're going to wrap this up. Christine, if you want, you can mute me for this because this parchment paper wrapping sound is not the greatest.
Oh, no, it's fine. Usually if something's loud, Zoom mutes it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, John is like used blenders and cocktail shakers.
Oh, yeah, you were saying. Okay, so now you guys will get to watch me very, like, tenuously making this packet. And there's going to be someone who's like, I know the best way to make it. And so what I'm going to do is go like this and then kind of start making these little folds around the edge. See that?
Yeah, there's definitely lots of different techniques that can
Yeah, so
be on how to create your packet. Definitely depends on your personal origami skills. But
yeah, mine are milled to like slice. So I basically, my goal is I don't want any steam. See, I'm already like, how am I gonna wrap this? So my goal is I don't want any steam to escape. If my goal was this needs to be beautiful, then I would direct you guys. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do, Christine? After this, I am going to send out a YouTube video that I think is particularly useful for people who want to wrap this up in like the prettiest kind of way. But this is just like embarrassing now. So I'm gonna face up here and be like, hey guys, just gonna finish wrapping this. This is where like the TV would be so helpful. Turns out I just had stage fright. I'm capable of like. Oh, did you guys hear that? Yes, regular parchment paper.
did it rip?
What is that?
Did it rip?
No.
Was it? I was like, wait, hear what? Was it the ding of the toaster oven?
It was the toaster oven, yes. So perfect timing. Watch, I'm going to show you guys this and you're going to be like, why don't we run a class on how to wrap parchment? But guys, turns out it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to keep the steam in.
Yes, that's definitely the most important part.
Okay, you guys ready to see this?
Mm-hmm. It's like the big reveal we're all waiting for here. We need like a drum roll and dun, 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 dun. It looks like a calzone.
I'll take it. I love calzones. Those are huge in Wisconsin and I went to college there. Okay, all wrapped up. Perfect timing because that just dinged. So I'm going to take that out. And let's check it out. Oh, actually, this, give me a second. Okay. What I'm going to do is get this out. And then I'll face you guys down and open this up. And as I open it up, I will show you what I did different.
And I love that you cooked this in the toaster oven too.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no need to like fire up it's 90 degrees or something out today.
The least amount of times you fire up the oven, the better now that the temperature.
Exactly. So there's a couple ways you can do this, right? Like at restaurants and stuff, I've seen them come to your table and just be like, da-da-da, and like open it. Other people just cut it. I prefer cutting because then you don't burn yourself, right? So I'm going for that. So actually, why don't we do the reveal? Like might as well. Okay, here's another beautifully wrapped parchment that you can see. Basically, no steam has escaped. Oh my God, guys, check this out. Okay.
Oh, it's so pretty.
You see that?
I love that with the lemon. And what have you, so that's lemon and is it rosemary?
Yes, so I am actually going to flip this around so that you can see it really well. Let me do this. All right. So this is what I just took out of the oven. I made this literally right before you guys came on. Christine was on as I was like, I made this as I was talking to her. So what I have in here is the Italian style fish and papillote, or the parchment paper fish. So here I used a bed of arugula at the bottom instead of scallions. And then instead of onions, I used shallots. I think someone asked, hey, can you use shallots? Yep, used shallots here. And then I also used some cherry tomatoes, which happen to be delicious. I've been like snacking on them. And then I seasoned everything with salt and pepper. Salt and peppered the fish. And then there's dried oregano on the fish. And then there's also a little bit of butter, garlic, lemon zest, and fresh lemon slices. And the last thing on there is I have a rosemary plant now, which is still alive. So I put some fresh sprigs of rosemary in there. And you notice in the last one, I used like a sesame oil. In this one, I used a truffle oil. Ooh. And again, very, very little, just because a little bit goes a long way there too. So now what I might do is, do you guys want to see this like cut? See me take a bite of it or something? Here, let's just see it. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to go like this, and then we'll just cut it right in here. It's not a big deal. Okay. Okay. Things on here. Oh, I do want to say, when you put the lemon slices on here, the only thing I would do, you don't have to take off like the rind or anything. The only thing I would do is take out the seeds, because that's where the bitterness is. And I personally don't want any bitterness in this. The lemon zest is what gives you the perfume of the lemon, and I definitely wanted that. Then the lemon juice gives you a little bit of that acidity. So it's nice to have both components. Okay, I'm gonna cut into this right here. You can see fish is well cooked.
Yeah, it looks nice and flaky.
Nice and flaky, yep, it's not overdone. I'm gonna move that to the side so you can see some of like the veg. So the way I'd eat this is kind of having a bite of all of these with a bite of the fish. So let me try to like put all of that in at once. That was interesting. I think when I initially told you, Christine, I was going to make this, I hadn't planned on doing two. But then as I make all my cooking decisions, I was like, there's 2 fillets per packet. I might as well make 2. So, and originally I would have just made 2 the same kind and we would have eaten it for dinner, but we're actually going out to dinner. So I was like, okay, I can't like overeat.
I know, I was going to ask, I was like, so which of you is getting the Italian and which of you is getting Asian, or are you going to eat half and switch plates? Like,
yes, all valid questions. Okay, here we go. So we have the fish, and then on this side, we have like the tomato, we have the arugula, we have a little bit of shallot in there. Smells good. Oh my God.
It does sound delicious. So does anyone have any other questions on the fish and papillote, either the Italian, the Asian, anything else? It's so nice and easy. And again, I love that you can do it in the toaster oven, and it's so easy to get like those frozen fillets like that. So you can do it for yourself. Like I could actually conceivably make that for myself for lunch in the middle of the day when I'm here.
No, like you saw, Christine, I made the other one in real time.
Yeah.
I didn't really have too much prepped. I just made it in real time, and you can use whatever veggies you have. Another idea I had, sorry, I like have to take another bite of this. The lemon zest on top is a nice touch. I'm realizing I haven't put lemon zest on top before. It's a nice touch. One idea I had as I was like putting this recipe together was, you know how like you'll have taco parties and you have people make your own tacos? You could have people make their own fish packets like this. So
That's a really fun idea.
yeah, so where you could just lay out your veg, like whatever veg, and then you could maybe provide, I mean, this is already sounding like a lot of work as I'm saying it, but like if you're doing some kind of, no, but if you're doing some kind of like a themed party or you want people to kind of have more of that experience, I might actually do something like this for one of my pop-up dinners once I start doing those again, because I usually do like pop-up dinners where people come and eat here, is offering kind of suggestions, right? So do you guys remember Flat Top Grill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know how at Flat Top Grill, they'd like give you recommendations for like, if you want more of a da-da-da flavor, go with these combos. You could provide people recommendations like that, but then just leave all the ingredients out and then just say like, make a bed of greens, add your aromatics, add your seasonings, add your fish, wrap and put in the oven. You know, and people could really create their own. And I think this is a great recipe to do that with because it's not too complicated.
Yeah.
And you can get creative with it.
Yeah, it really lends itself to a lot of different kinds of customization and potential. And it's also a really great thing for when you've got, you know, things in your produce drawer that it might be time for them to kind of go to the next phase, and you don't want that phase to be the garbage can. You want to make use of them. So.
Yeah. And then you don't want to like put them in a salad, right? So
yeah.
I think that like for something to go in a salad, you want it to be super crisp, super, and I'm not saying like use horrible things for this, but I'm just saying because you're steaming it and you're cooking it in the oven, there are other ways for its flavors to come out versus you just trying to taste it at its peak when it's not at the ingredient's not at its peak. So yeah. So any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, you want to unwrap it just before you eat, so the flavors will still be there, right?
Yeah, I would unwrap it just before I eat, mainly because I don't want to get cold. It is nice to kind of open at the table. Like if you're serving it, it's nice to kind of put the packets on individual plates and then have people kind of open it themselves. It's like a nice like reveal moment. But I would also say if you keep it closed and the heat is in there, it's not going to hurt the fish, you know, because I think this about things like eggs where they keep cooking after you take them out of the oven, or things like cooking. I did this yesterday. I like left them in 2 minutes too long and then they kept cooking once I took them out and were a little more than what I wanted them to be. But for this, you're not going to mess up the fish by just keeping it wrapped, which means the steam remains in there and which means it's kept warm. You're not going to overcook it that way.
Okay. Now, if you want to do 2 pieces, would you do it one by one or just put them in a bigger?
I would do them individually, have individual packets, and cook it that way. So then you don't end up with like a massive packet. And this way it's like a single serve type situation.
And the question about the veggie. From what you did, the carrots require more time compared to all the rest.
That's a really good.
Yes. If you do it on 12 minutes, will the carrots won't be fully cooked or the rest will be overcooked?
Yeah, that's a good point. So for example, even
the carrots are probably going to have a bite at the size that you have them, but if you want them to be more of like more on the mushier carrot side, I'd say like shred them.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yes, so the carrots definitely won't be as soft as like, you know, the scallions in there, just like this one, I guess all of them are a little similar, but like the lemons, which obviously you're not biting into, you could have wanted, aren't quite as like disintegrated as the arugula, you know, but it's okay. It just kind of goes well together. But yes, the carrots will have a bite. And I also don't want them to be too mushy, but if you did want them to kind of be the same way, you could use shredded carrots, as Christine said. You might also, like I do this for my crispy potatoes that I make. I used to just like cut them up and put them in the oven. Now I pre-boil them, you know, so you could, if you wanted, just like, heck, you're using a toaster oven. Why not just use your microwave? Like put your carrots in some water, put it in the microwave, boil them for like 4 or 5 minutes. They get parboiled, like semi-boiled, and then put them in here, and then you would get that. And then when you put them in the oven, they'll get even softer.
Yeah, the microwave is perfect for that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's all I have.
It looks too tasty.
I wish we didn't have a dinner book tonight. I finished this. I still have to try the other one. But what I will do is I will send photos to you, Christine,
Fabulous.
after done. And then I took a picture of this one before I put it in the oven. So I'll send you that too.
Cool. Well, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Everyone. I'm excited to hear how Asaf's dish was after he makes it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I hope you guys try out this recipe. Again, I do love that it can just be done in the toaster oven. So I'm gonna have to do this myself too. All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. We will see you at the next Taste Talk. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.